At the beginning of this story, we see Yelena, who is tired of her bloody, violent life. Currently, she is working on a secret assignment for the OXX company because the company's director, Valentina, had conducted secret human experiments in an attempt to create a powerful superhero named Sentry. But the project failed, resulting in the deaths of many people, which triggered a government investigation. That's why Valentina entrusted Yelena with the responsibility of erasing all evidence related to the secret human project, so the government would never find out about it. Yelena ends up blowing up the entire OXX lab located in Malaysia. On this day, the U.S. Congress Committee has summoned Valentina to court. Even Bucky shows up there, as he has recently entered politics and become a member of the U.S. committee. Mr. Carey accuses Valentina of misusing her former CIA position and says they have received intel that OXX has several research facilities across different countries, most of which are illegal. Rumors are also swirling that she's conducting human experiments there to create her own superhero persona. Valentina denies the accusations, saying these are just baseless rumors. She claims she's no longer involved with OXX and has completely shut down its operations since taking charge. She insists that she's doing everything in her power to keep America safe. The Avengers are no longer coming to save us, she says. We no longer have any proper heroes left. That's why it's the government's responsibility to ensure the safety of our people. I did nothing wrong with OXX and fulfilled my duty to the country. Chairman Carey doesn't have any solid proof, but tells her that they will continue investigating the superhuman experiment. This angers Valentina greatly. She turns to her assistant Melissa and says, "We have to evacuate all our labs immediately. Not a single shred of evidence should remain that could be used against me and land me rotting in prison." Melissa informs her that all the covert agents they had hired have already destroyed the case files. Only the last safe house remains. Meanwhile, we see Yelena's father, Alexei, also known as the Red Guardian, enjoying TV at home. He now runs a limo business. Just then, Yelena arrives, prompting him to quickly clean the house and open the gate. They are meeting after almost a year since Yelena doesn't live with him. Yelena asks him if he's happy with his life, because she herself is tired of hers. "I don't want to work for Valentina anymore," she says. Alexei responds, "My life is messed up too. The happiest time in my life was when I worked for my country, when I was a hero and defeated evil. People worshipped me. You should also follow in Natasha's footsteps and become a superhero." Yelena walks away. Just then, Valentina calls her. But Yelena tells her she no longer wants to work in secrecy. "This life doesn't suit me anymore," she says. Valentina pleads, "Just do this one last job for me, and then you'll be free to do whatever you want." In Belva, there's a hidden vault owned by OXX that contains the most classified items. A rogue agent with the power to disappear is trying to steal my things. You need to find out what she's after, and then eliminate her. Yelena reaches the vault. Valentina had already set up her biometrics, so she gains access without issue. Inside the lab's secret room, Yelena finds many items, including the files for the failed Sentry project, which had caused many deaths. She keeps those papers for herself. Suddenly, John Walker appears and starts shooting at her. He, too, works for Valentina. She had sent him to kill Yelena, but she survives. The two begin to fight. Just then, Antonia shows up and attacks John. Valentina had secretly sent her to kill him, but John, being a superhuman, easily throws her away. Now Ghost, aka Ava, enters and starts fighting Taskmaster, Antonia, which leads to all of Valentina's agents turning against one another. Yelena tries to fight Ava, but Ava keeps disappearing to avoid attacks. Eventually, Ava shoots Antonia and completes her mission. However, during the chaos, a secret device accidentally activates, and a young man steps out. He tries to escape, but the doors are locked. He says, "My name is Bob." All three point their guns at him, scaring him. Ava decides to leave since her mission is complete. But Yelena points her gun at Ava and says, "You're not going anywhere. You're my target." Meanwhile, John's target is Yelena. All three realize that Antonia had planned to eliminate all the agents who destroyed the evidence, because they knew her secret. Ava tries to escape by disappearing again, but there's a high-frequency sound barrier blocking her way. She can't get out. John asks Bob, "How did you even get in here?" But Bob doesn't know anything. He has no job or assignment. Meanwhile, we see Valentina hosting a party where Bucky is also present. He wants to expose her at any cost. He approaches her assistant Melissa and gives her his card. "If you ever want to share any evidence," he says, "you can contact me." But Melissa walks away. Valentina tells Melissa, "The time has come to eliminate all our secret agents. The vault is now completely sealed." Melissa hesitates. She doesn't want to kill anyone. But Valentina overrides her and activates the fire system. Red lights flash inside the vault. A 2-minute timer begins, terrifying everyone. Yelena says, "We need to work together to get out of here. First, they must disable the sound barrier so Ava can exit and open the main door." They start looking for the sound barrier's control connection. Yelena finds it, and John smashes it with his shield. Now Ava escapes and manages to open the outer gate just in time, saving Bob, John, and Yelena's lives. But as Yelena touches Bob, she is pulled into an old memory from the past. when she was in the Red Room. Back then, she had a close friend named Anya, but their roles were different. Yelena was a deadly assassin, while Anya had been brought in as a pawn. Yelena had to get Anya killed to prove her own bravery. Yelena was hiding behind a tree. She called out her handler, who came out and shot Anya dead. This meant Yelena had passed the Red Room test, but the pain of Anya's death always stayed in her heart. Yelena couldn't understand why she had a vision. Meanwhile, Melissa informed Valentina that all 3 of her agents had survived and were now working together. Valentina spotted Bob among them, but didn't recognize him. She instructed Melissa to gather information on him and sent her entire strike team to eliminate Yelena and the others. Alexei overheard this as he was driving Valentina's car. Yelena, John, and Ava were also suspicious about Bob's identity. They asked him how he ended up there. He replied that he had donated his blood for medical research, and when he regained consciousness, he found himself in this place. John, angry and distrustful, suggested throwing him into the fire. They started arguing, but Yelena calmed them down and took Bob aside. She told him they needed to work together to escape since all the gates were locked. Bob told her to leave without him because she'd be safer that way. Yelena realized he was tired of life and told him that everyone carries a void within them, a deep darkness that pulls them in, and that they need to ignore those memories and move forward. John had made a hole in the elevator, but the height was too much. Meanwhile, Valentina and Melissa were also heading toward the vault. Melissa had discovered that Bob had participated in the Sentry project. Valentina said everyone involved in the project had died, which was why they were in this mess. Melissa confirmed that Bob had been injected with the Sentry superhuman serum because he was fed up with his life and wanted to change it. That meant Valentina's experiment had succeeded and Bob was now a superhuman, though he himself was unaware of it. They managed to get out of the life section, but as soon as Bob touched John, John was pulled into an old memory when his wife asked him to take care of their son, but he ignored her, which led to their separation. He then returned to normal. All 4 of them were about to escape when Valentina brought in her OX strike force, instructing them to bring everyone back alive because she wanted to turn Bob into a sentry. Yelena made a plan. She caused an explosion inside, and when the strike team entered, John started fighting them. Yelena protected Bob and began taking out all the OX guards. The 3 of them disguised themselves in guard uniforms and escaped. Ava brought a vehicle, and they loaded Bob into the back while the others sat in front. The OX guards stopped their car. John claimed they were a medical team, but the guards became suspicious. Bob stepped out to create a distraction and began firing randomly. The guards surrounded him and fired nonstop. Yelena thought he was dead and fled with the others. Valentina ordered the firing to stop. She didn't want to lose her superhero. Bob was unharmed because his superpowers had awakened. He began to fly. Everyone started shooting at him again, but he soared high into the sky. Yelena and the others witnessed it too. Bob didn't understand what was happening and fell unconscious, crashing down hard, which caused an explosion that threw Yelena's car off the road. John, Ava, and Yelena survived. John said Bob had flown. Valentina must have experimented on him. Yelena revealed that Valentina had experimented on humans because she wanted to create a golden messiah, a sentry. Many lives were lost, and they were tasked with covering up the evidence. Ava said they needed to escape before Valentina killed them. Bob was unconscious, so Valentina made arrangements to move him to her new lab. She had purchased the old Avengers Tower in New York and was converting it into her lab. Meanwhile, Red Guardian had arrived to rescue Yelena and took her, Ava, and John with him. Alexei said it looked like the sidekicks had teamed up, but the OX guards had tracked them down, and 3 vehicles were now chasing them. Alexei sped up his limo, but it couldn't go faster than 50 miles per hour. The guards opened fire. Yelena managed to destroy one of their cars. Bucky also arrived, having been informed by Melissa about Yelena and the others. He easily destroyed the remaining 2 vehicles, but also caused the limo to crash and captured all 4 of them. Bob, still unconscious, was with Valentina. When he awoke, he was frightened, recognizing her as the one trying to kill them all. Valentina explained that he had applied for a medical study where experiments were conducted to enhance humans. But not everyone could become the superhero they envisioned. She reminded him of his past. He used to be a drug addict. Now he was perfect. She convinced him to stay with her and began training him to use his superpowers. She also told Melissa to call a press conference the next morning to reveal their new superhero to the world. Melissa warned that giving the super serum to a mentally unstable man was dangerous and could lead to destruction. Valentina reassured her that they had created a kill switch to eliminate him if he got out of control, and she left. Meanwhile, a lawyer had tied up the 4, Yelena, John, Ava, and Alexei, at an abandoned fuel station. He planned to use them in court as evidence against Valentina. Yelena told him Valentina had created a superhuman through experimentation, and her experiment had succeeded. Bob now had powers. Melissa, concerned for her country, contacted Bucky and told him about Project Sentry. She said Bob could destroy the entire world and must be stopped. She asked him to come to the old Avengers building, but Bucky knew he couldn't stop Bob alone. So he wanted help from Yelena, John, Ava, and Alexei. He released them, shocking them all. Bucky said they would have to stop Bob together. Yelena said they weren't the right people for the job. They had all done terrible things. Bucky admitted he had been through that phase too. He said turning away from the past doesn't ease the pain. Only by facing it can they move forward and hold their heads high again. They were all moved by this and agreed to help. Alexei was quite excited. The 5 of them reached New York, though they had no plan. They stormed into Avengers Tower, taking down all the guards and knocking them unconscious one by one. Just then, Valentina's voice echoed. She said, "You could have come in directly. I had already left the door open for you. Come on up." The 5 of them reached the top floor via the elevator. Valentina says that this place was a bit expensive, but it impresses people when they see it. However, the others get angry with her, and Bucky moves toward her, trying to grab her, but his hand is stopped by Sentry, who now appears before them. Valentina had fully suited him up in the Sentry costume. She says that he has immense power, and even if we gathered all the Avengers, this one would be more powerful than all of them. She claims he will soon become the greatest hero on Earth. Bucky asks what she really wants, and she explains that she wants to show the world the power of the Sentry, how he punishes escaped criminals. From now on, she will decide how Americans stay safe, which will make her the most supreme of all. She orders Sentry to kill Bucky and the others, but Bob doesn't want to harm them. Yelena tries to make him realize that he's not evil, but he doesn't listen. Red Guardian attacks him, but Sentry flings him far away in just one blow. Now everyone starts fighting him, but he was too powerful. He was stopping bullets with his bare hands, bending John's shield, and even had laser powers, using them to burn guns. Everyone loses against him. Bucky tries to fight again, but Sentry rips off his arm and throws it away. Seeing this, they all begin to escape. Valentina wanted them dead, but Sentry refuses and tells her he sees no threat in them. So why should he kill them? They had already fled. Valentina insists he must follow her orders, but Sentry refuses, saying she dyed his hair and keeps ordering him around. But why would a powerful god like him take orders from anyone? Valentina realizes he's out of her control, so she presses the kill switch to terminate him, but Sentry finds out and takes her away, accusing her of betrayal, and starts to kill her. Before he can finish, Melissa arrives and presses the kill switch herself, appearing to destroy Sentry. Valentina assumes he's dead and tells Melissa to clean the mess and instructs their team to eliminate Yelena and the others. But now, the dark personality inside Bob, the Void, begins to awaken. Meanwhile, Yelena, John, and Ava feel like they can't defeat Bob and begin to go their separate ways. Yelena is deeply troubled, haunted by her past sins, especially killing her friend Anya on her first Red Room mission. Alexei comforts her, reminding her how she used to care for others as a child, even becoming a goalkeeper on her football team to earn trust. He tells her to awaken that Yelena again and help everyone. Now, the darkness within Bob, the Void, has fully emerged, engulfing people in shadows. Yelena witnesses this and becomes distressed. Valentina summons her strike team, but Void sends them into darkness as well, crashing their helicopter. The cracks caused by the crash lead to chaos in New York, with debris falling on civilians. This was the moment for Yelena and the rest to prove themselves as heroes. Alexei begins rescuing people and taking them to safety. Yelena saves an old lady. Bucky helps too, along with Ava and John. The Thunderbolts team is now united again, named after Yelena's childhood football team, LAC Thunderbolts. People clap for them and appreciate their heroism, which brings them joy. Valentina watches all this, but just then, a little girl is about to be crushed by a falling rock. Alexei saves her, but Void sends her into the darkness as well. One by one, more people fall into the shadows. Void declares that no one can escape emptiness, though everyone is trying to run. Darkness spreads everywhere. John, Alexei, and the rest continue evacuating people. Yelena, however, realizes that this darkness is rooted in Bob's memories. So, she deliberately enters the dark realm, reaching into Bob's memories. Within them, there are paths into deeper layers of memories. Yelena keeps going, searching for Bob to pull him out and destroy Void. She finds Bob locked inside a room and reaches him through a mirror. Meanwhile, Alexei assumes she's dead, but John says she might have entered the memory world because when he touched Bob earlier, he too entered a similar place. So, they decide to help Yelena. Yelena tells Bob to stop all this, but Bob says it's not him. It's the Void born from his darkest memories, and he can't destroy it. Yelena explains that what she said during their earlier confrontation was a lie. They can't ignore bad memories. They hollow us out. Instead, we must let them go. She reveals how Bob was beaten by his father as a child, and says that by letting go of those traumas, the burden on the heart eases. Her burden is now lifted, and it's time for them to escape together. Bob agrees, but Void begins attacking them using everything around. He tries to kill both of them. But now, Alexei and the others arrive and rescue them. Yelena is happy to see them. They say they're a team, so they had to come. Bob doesn't know how to get out, but Yelena says they must go into his worst memories to reach the exit. In the real world, the darkness had engulfed the entire city and kept spreading. Yelena and her team keep moving forward through Bob's memories, even the ones where Bob, addicted to drugs, used to roam around in a chicken costume. Bucky knocks him out during one of these memories. They finally reach the lab where Bob had been experimented on. Void is present there and tells Bob he's nothing in life. He attacks and traps them all. Bob, wanting to be free of the darkness and save his friends, fights Void. The two battle intensely, but Void overpowers him, saying Bob will always be alone and has no one. But Bob knows he has friends and becomes enraged to protect them, brutally beating Void. However, this also starts awakening the evil inside him. He begins merging with the darkness. Seeing this, everyone becomes concerned. Alexei pulls Yelena out with all his strength. Now the rest also break free and rush to Bob, encouraging and reminding him he is not alone. With their support, Void is finally destroyed. Back in the real world, the darkness vanishes and everything returns to normal. But Bob remembers nothing, not even his powers. Everyone is angry at Valentina, but she calls the press and declares in front of everyone that these new heroes are the ones she created, who saved the world. People begin to accept them as the new Avengers, which makes them happy. Then we're shown the post-credit scene. It's 14 months later, in the midst of a space crisis. Yelena and the others are arguing about what to name their team. Yelena suggests they call themselves the New Avengers to avoid trademark issues. Just then, a warning arrives from space. A spaceship from another dimension with the number 4 written on it is entering their world. It belongs to the Fantastic Four. So if you like this video, do subscribe to this channel.